Lady of the Dunes, also known as Lady in the Dunes, is the nickname for an unidentified woman discovered on July 26, 1974 in the Race Point Dunes, Provincetown, Massachusetts. Her body was exhumed in 1980, 2000, and 2013 in efforts to identify her and her murderer. To date, these efforts have been unsuccessful. The case was featured on the television series Haunting Evidence in 2006. Discovery: a 9-year-old girl was walking her dog, and found the body of an unidentified woman on July 26, 1974. The remains were just yards away from a road, and had a significant amount of insect activity. 2 sets of footprints led to the body. Entire tracks were found 50 yards, 46 meters from the scene. The woman may have died 2 weeks before her body was found. The victim was face down on half of a beach blanket. There was no sign of a struggle. Police theorized she either knew her killer or had been asleep when she died. A blue bandana and pair of Wrangler jeans were under her head. She had long auburn or red hair, pulled back into a ponytail with a gold-flecked elastic band. Her toenails were painted pink. Police determined the woman was approximately 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters tall, initially believed to have been 5 feet 8 inches, weighed 145 pounds, 66 kilograms, and had an athletic build. She also had dental work, including crowns, worth $5,000, $10,000. Dentists call it the New York style of dental work. Several of her teeth had been removed. 1 hand and 1 forearm were missing. Most sources say she was between 25 and 40 years old. However, she could have been as young as 20 or as old as 49. The woman was nearly decapitated, possibly from strangulation. 1 side of her head had been crushed with, possibly, a military entrenching type of tool. This head injury was what killed her. There were also signs of sexual assault, likely post-mortem. Some investigators feel the missing teeth, hands, and forearm indicate the killer wanted to hide either the victim's identity or their own. The woman was buried in October 1974 after the case went cold. In 2014, one of the case investigators raised funds for a new casket, because the original thin metal casket was rusted and deteriorated. Investigation: police poured through thousands of missing person cases and a list of approved vehicles driven through the area. No matches were found. At the scene, the sand and beach blanket were not disturbed, suggesting that the body was possibly moved to that specific spot where her body was found. No other evidence was found, besides the jeans, bandana, blanket and ponytail holder. Despite extensive searches of the surrounding dunes, the first facial reconstruction of the woman was created with clay in 1979. Her remains were exhumed in 1980 for examination. No new clues were uncovered, although the skull was not buried at the time. The body was exhumed again in March 2000 for DNA. In May 2010, her skull was placed through a CT scanner that generated images that were then used by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for another reconstruction. Leeds: in 1987, a Canadian woman told a friend that she saw her father strangle a woman in Massachusetts around 1972. Police attempted to locate the woman but were unsuccessful. Another woman told police the reconstruction of the victim looked like her sister, who disappeared in Boston in 1974. Investigators also followed the lead involving missing criminal Rory Jean Kessinger, who would have been 25 years old at the time of the murder. She broke out of jail in 1973. Authorities saw a resemblance between Kessinger and the victim. However, DNA from Kessinger's mother did not match the victim. 2 other missing women, Frances Ewald of Montana and Vic Lamberton of Massachusetts, have also been ruled out. Jaws film extra possibility. In August 2015, speculation arose that Lady of the Dunes may have been an extra in the 1975 film Jaws, filmed in Massachusetts in 1974. Joe Hill, the son of horror author Stephen King, brought this to police attention. Hill had learned of the case after reading The Skeleton Crew: How Amateur Sleuths Are Solving America's Coldest Cases just weeks before. While watching the film's 4th of July beach scene, Hill spotted a woman in the crowd wearing a blue bandana and jeans, similar to those found with the body. Jaws was shot between May and October 1974. Principal photography was mainly in Menhamshire on Martha's Vineyard, about 100 miles, 160 kilometers south of Provincetown. Although a lead investigator has noted interest in this, others have described it as far-fetched and wild speculation. Suspects. In 1981, investigators learned a woman who resembled the victim was seen with mobster Whitey Bulger around the time the woman presumably died. Bulger was known for removing his victim's teeth. A link to Bulger has not been proven, and he was murdered and imprisoned in 2018. Tony Costa, a serial killer in the area, was an initial suspect, but later eliminated. Costa died on May 12, 1974. The victim was found in July 1974. Haddon Clark confession. Serial killer Haddon Clark confessed to the murder, stating, "I could have told the police what her name was, but after they beat the shit out of me, I wasn't going to tell them shit. This murder is still unsolved, and what the police are looking for is in my grandfather's garden." Authorities say Clark suffers from paranoid schizophrenia, a condition which may lead someone to confess falsely to crimes. In 2004, Clark sent a letter to a friend stating that he had killed a woman on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. He also sent 2 drawings. One of a handless, naked woman sprawled on her stomach, and another of a map pointing to where the body was found. In April 2000, Clark led police to a spot where he claimed he had buried 2 victims 20 years before. He also stated that he had murdered several others in various states between the 1970s and the 1990s. See also List of unsolved murders. References. Cited works and further reading. Halber, Deborah, 2015. The Skeleton Crew: How Amateur Sleuths Are Solving America's Coldest Cases. New York: Simon & Schuster. ISBN 978-1451-65758-6. Lee, Sandra, the 12th of December 2012. The Shanty. Provincetown's Lady in the Dunes. Frederick County, Maryland. America Star Books. ISBN 978-16300000608. External links: Fox News Report, Lady of the Dunes at the Doe Network, Lady of the Dunes at Nameless, Lady of the Dunes at Find a Grave.